game is fun. The game is a battle. If it's not fun, why bother? If it's not a battle, where's the fun? It's a test that you pass or a quest that you fail. A race against time. Fun and battle always locked together. But the game is also something else. It's a journey, a passport to new worlds, maybe even an Odyssey. A look, a feel, an exploration. Close your focus and open your mind. Yes, the journey requires the right ticket, and that ticket is Nintendo Switch. But in the end, it's not just where you can take your game. It's where your game can take you. So let's go.
Story goes that when the world was young, everyone in Allrest lived on the World Tree, together with our Divine Father, the Architect. They called that paradise Elysium. You're a blade.
As the driver of the Aegis, can you take me to Elysium?
I'm in. Let's go to Elysium. I'll take you there myself. We'll show you what me and Pyra are made of. Take this! Now that you have come this far, there can be no turning back.
You and that sword can't be! I'm guessing your goal is Elysium.
He calls Pyra. Our flames hide something deeper.
What's the matter? Are you the Aegis, or aren't you?
I won't use that power, and I won't let you use it either!
If you know what you desire, you will have to show it. Not with words, but with your own strength. Everyone, let's go!
Sometimes you need a hero. A sword swinging, fire wielding, stone cold hero with an insatiable appetite?
Hi everyone, I'm Shinya Takahashi from Nintendo. I hope you've been enjoying the journey with Nintendo Switch so far. When I found out that Nintendo Switch is being accepted by video game fans from all over the world as a home console that could be taken with you anywhere, I felt so relieved. Take Switch outside, come together, and share the experience. This idea was how we hoped people would play with Nintendo Switch. But people are coming up with many creative ways to play, in all kinds of places, in many more ways than we expected. This summer, Nintendo and its third-party partners will release many multiplayer games that can be played anytime, anywhere, and with anyone. We hope there will be many heated competitions that will be ignited by Nintendo Switch. Now, we'll continue our look at even more new game worlds for Nintendo Switch. But before we do, there is one announcement we'd like to share from our very special friend. Please take a look.
Hi everyone, I'm Tsunekazu Ishihara from the Pokemon Company. Just the other day, we announced that Pokken Tournament Deluxe is coming to Nintendo Switch. This is the latest version of the premier Pokemon fighting game. Two people can dive right into battle using two Joy-Con controllers, so you can experience heated Pokemon battles with just one Nintendo Switch console. There are some fresh additions, including new Pokemon, and this deluxe version of the game will be on display at E3 for attendees to play. I have one more announcement. Game Freak has begun developing a core RPG Pokemon title on Nintendo Switch. It may not release for more than a year, but we hope you'll look forward to it all the same. In the meantime, let's enjoy this year's E3.
Ishihara-san, thank you very much. We heard that the Pokemon series is being developed for Nintendo Switch. What kind of Pokemon game will we be able to play on Nintendo Switch? I'm looking forward to it myself. At this year's E3, we're mostly showing games that will be released in 2017. But please know that here at Nintendo, we're working on many forms of entertainment that can only be made possible on Nintendo Switch. We hope you'll look forward to them as well. Now let's continue on with the journey with Nintendo Switch.
danger!
If she's up there, then...
You two must keep going. No, I'm coming with you. I am Marth, the Prince of Altea. We've come here to save you.
Remember that you can rely on your friends. We're with you.
Get it together, you two. If you can't do this, who can?
You fought your way this far. There's nothing you two can't do.
No matter the danger, we can overcome it if we're working together.
All right, let's move out.
Working together, we can finish this!
Hi there, I'm the Legend of Zelda series producer, Eiji Aonuma. You may have already heard about it during Bethesda's showcase that was held a few days ago. It was announced that select Zelda items will appear in the Nintendo Switch version of Skyrim. I'm really looking forward to exploring Skyrim with the Master Sword in hand. Oh, when did this Master Sword get in my hand? Next up, we'll take a look at the DLC packs for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Let us take you on a new Hyrule adventure.
Oh.
What did you think? I actually have one more announcement that I'd like to share. The 4 champions that appeared in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild will be available as amiibo. The Zora champion, Mipha. The Goron champion, Daruk. the Rito champion, Rivali, and the Gerudo champion, Urbosa. You'll be able to use these 4 amiibo in The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Of course, you'll be able to use these in the DLC packs that you just saw, so please look forward to them.
This changes the game. Travel the world. Bring people together. Play anywhere with anyone. If video gaming is a journey, then anywhere has to include a stop right here in LA during E3. This is Magic Week, where booths buzz and channels glow, where the game worlds you've heard about suddenly spring into life. And this summer, a new kind of heated competition ignites right on Nintendo Switch. It kicks off later today with the Splatoon 2 World Inkling Invitational, which brings teams from the Americas, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and Japan to see whose colorful skills are the best. Tomorrow, the Pokken Invitational will be held. You might recognize some of our 8 competitors who'll be duking it out in heated battles. Later on Wednesday, we'll see 8 players throw punches in the fun and competitive game ARMS, which launches later this week. 4 of our players will be pros, and the other 4 will be E3 attendees who rise to the top by battling on the show floor. If you're going to E3, we hope you'll accept the challenge. And no matter where you are, be sure to catch up with Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3 for all the details and news about Nintendo Switch and Nintendo 3DS. But now, there are a few more worlds left to visit on our journey before we land in the booth. Let's go.
Ubisoft is proud to announce its new Rabbids game, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and it will be developed exclusively for the Nintendo Switch. The Rabbids' crazy personalities and unpredictable behavior will shine as they arrive in a reimagined and twisted Mushroom Kingdom. They will surprise you in this tactical adventure filled with combat and exploration. Mario and his friends will join them in an epic quest to put the kingdom back in order. We can't wait for you to play the game on August 29th.
On behalf of everyone here at Psyonix, we're extremely excited to announce that Rocket League is indeed coming to Nintendo Switch. We know that both the Rocket League and Switch communities have wanted it, and now we're going to release it, complete with cross-network support that lets you play against opponents on other platforms.
The Switch version will have all the features and modes we've released thus far, plus exclusives like local wireless multiplayer, Mario and Luigi hats for customizing your car, and new exclusive cars we'll talk about later this year.
Look for Rocket League on Nintendo Switch this holiday.
Go off the rails, but you know it's time to raise our sails. It's freedom like you never knew. money bags or a pass. Say the word, I'll be there in a flash. You could say my hat is off to you. Oh, we can zoom all the way to the moon from this great wide wacky world. Jump with me, grab coins with me, oh yeah. It's time to jump up in the air. Jump up, don't be scared. Jump up and your cares will soar away. And if the dark clouds start to swirl, don't fear and shed a tear, 'cause I'll be your one-up girl. So let's all jump up super high, high up in the sky. There's no power up like dancing. You know that you're my superstar. No one else can take me this far. I'm flipping the switch. Get ready for this. So let's do the Odyssey. Odyssey, yes, Odyssey, yes, Odyssey, yes, Odyssey, yes,
Hey everybody, and welcome to Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3 2017. We're back for another year. We've got a lot of great game content to show you and a lot of special guests swinging by as well. But to get things kicked off, we're going to take another look at Super Mario Odyssey. Just saw the video in the spotlight. It's going to be coming out on October 27th, really soon. And we're going to take a look at some gameplay. I'm Sam from the Treehouse, joined by my colleagues from the Treehouse, Rob, and Scott on the end. And we have some very special guests with us for this segment. We've got the game's producer, Koizumi-san, and the game's director, Motokura-san. Thank you both so much for joining us today.
はい。
今日来ていただきありがとうございました。
はい、楽しみにしてました。
Really looking forward to it.
So I know folks are probably really excited to get into gameplay, but before we jump in, there were a lot of really cool reveals in that video, and I think folks are going to be really interested in all the different directions that you're taking this game. But at the core, there's really kind of a driving philosophy that you've got going. I was wondering if you could tell our viewers a little bit more about that.
このゲームの基本的なコンセプトを説明していただけますか。
まず今ビデオを見ていただいてどうでしたか。何か面白かったところありますか。
First, could I just ask you, was there anything you saw in there that particularly surprised you or interested you?
I gotta say, the first time I saw that T-Rex, my heart stopped.
The dinosaur was a
It
big
was so exciting.
よかったです。今回のマリオはテーマが旅になっていて、別の国に行った時の驚きをすごく強調しています。
So we have a theme of going on a journey in this game, but we're also trying to give the player a lot of surprises, and I think the dinosaur is a really big surprise for most.
マリオシリーズってマリオが持っているその分かりやすさであるとか、可愛らしさであるとか、誰でも分かるような共感というもので、今まで作ってきて、今もこれも入ってるんですけども、今回は特に旅の驚きっていうことをすごく、盛り込みたいので、驚きというテーマを、体験もそうだし、ビジュアルもそうだし、たくさん詰め込んでます。
But we also want to balance that feeling of surprise with some emotional resonance, giving people something that's familiar, that's attractive, that's really cute from the Mario series, and bounce people back and forth between the familiar and the surprising.
でそれを体験するための新しいプレイシステムを、作りましたので、それは本倉さんに説明してもらいます。
So we've come up with some play systems to get that across as well. So it's not just a look and feel, but a play experience also. And I'd like to turn to Mr. Motokura to explain that.
今作は帽子を投げて敵や物を操ってとある地球を冒険するっていう、物語になっています。
So the kind of overall story of this game is, you're going around, you're throwing your hat, you're taking over different enemies and objects, and you're traveling the world while you do that.
そのパワームーンっていうのがイコール驚きになっていますので、それを帽子を投げたりいろんなものを操って箱庭を探索してもらえたらと思っています。
And we talked about surprise before, but basically the unit of surprise in this game is those power moons. Those always equal a surprise, so you go around, you throw your hat at different things, you control enemies, and you find things that are surprising, and that gives you a power moon.
Right on, so let's get into some gameplay. Rob, you're going to take us into New Donk City.
I am. First, I'd like to just take a quick look at the Odyssey, for which the game is named. It's the ship that Mario uses to travel the world, and it's powered by these power moons, so you keep needing additional thresholds of them to get on to the next kingdom. And just to show off a little bit of the new moves, obviously there's the hat throw. You can make it stay in place, which is sometimes valuable. It can grab things for you. There's two kinds of coins, which we'll talk about a little later on.
And actually, there in that little dialogue box, we saw Cappy.
Oh, yeah. Cappy is both the red hat that he's wearing and also in his native form, he's a white top hat. And so one other move that's pretty cool is this circular throw. Knocks away everything. But let's get down into the city. And as you saw in the trailer, so there's the capture mechanic lets you take over things. It also lets you do fairly exotic things like turn into electricity, travel through wires. So how did the capture mechanic come about?
キャプチャーという仕様を作ったきっかけは何かありましたでしょうか。
そうですね。今作はものすごくいろんな試作っていうものをしてから作っています。
So when we were making this game, what we started out doing was making just a huge amount of different gameplay prototypes.
このキャプチャーというアクションもそのうちの一つです。
And this capture action was just one of those prototypes.
みんなでアイデアを出し合った中に出てきたんですけども、それをそうですね、2、3日ぐらいで作って遊んでみたらものすごく面白かったので、すぐゲームの中心に入れようと決めました。
So, it was just one of the ideas that came up, but we worked on it for 2 or 3 days, and it just instantly turned into something that was really fun, and we decided, well, okay, this should just be the center of this game.
I love how much it encourages that exploration and experimentation that I think the Mario games along these lines are so known for when you think about Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine. Here we've got so much stuff that just looks interesting, and you're wondering, okay, what will happen if I throw my cap at it? You never really know what's going to happen, so you want to try everything just to see.
何でも試してみたくなる仕様ですね。どういう要素があって。
そうですね。いろんなものに帽子を投げたり、試してもらえたらなと思ってます。
Yeah, I definitely hope people, while they're playing this game, they just throw their hat at everything and try all sorts of different things.
Whoops, that was a mistake. Right now, normally, if you were following the story path of the game, you'd be talking to Mayor Pauline, who wants you to recruit musicians. There's one there. But we're going to ignore that right now because there's lots and lots of things to do beyond following the main story of the game. Like possess rockets and turn into rockets with mustaches.
And why wouldn't you do that if you could? Actually, that's an interesting note there. So you mentioned Mayor Pauline, and I think our sharp-eyed viewers will have noticed that some of the street signs are references to some Donkey Kong characters. We've got some interesting red girders going on here. I wonder, Kozuma-san and Monokura-san, if you can tell us a little bit more about this city. It's got some interesting backstory.
やっぱりポリン市長がいて、ニュードンクシティという名前がついてると、もっと何かこの都市について説明していただけますか。
そうですね。名前もそうですし、ポリンってドンキーコングのキャラクターで何かのゲームに関係がありそうですけど、今日はちょっとあまり詳しく言えないんですけど。
So certainly you can tell that Pauline is from Donkey Kong, and the name New Donk City probably leads you to a couple of hints, but we can't get into too much of it today.
And I like the shirt you're wearing, by the way.
That is a snazzy
Good choice
shirt.
Today.
お楽しみに。
Please look forward to hearing more about that.
I got to take the long way.
Oh, good luck. And this is interesting here where we see, really throughout New Donk City and I think throughout the world, we've got these really fun playground elements where you're bouncing on things, you're jumping on things, you're swinging. Can you tell our viewers a little bit more about how you came up with that kind of play mechanic in the game?
ぶら下がったりして、飛び跳ねたりして、いろんな、環境のものに反応させられるんですけど、どういうふうにそういう遊び場っぽい雰囲気を出せるように考え方ありますか。
はい。まずその施策っていうのでものすごくいっぱい遊びを作っています。それを配置してステージっていうものを作ります。まず。
So, going back to that prototyping process I was talking about before, we obviously create lots and lots of different ones, lots and lots of different game ideas. And then next what we think about is where to place them within the stage.
そこにそのアートであるとか具体的なものを載せて遊んでみます。
So we put it in the stage. We combine it with different art assets, kind of real things, to see what it might actually look like or work in game, and then try playing it.
そうするともっとこうしたいとかいろんな意見が出てくるので、それをさらにそこに上乗せして作っています。
And then, obviously out of that, different things come up, oh, maybe we could do this a little bit differently, maybe this could actually work like this instead, and then we kind of add that to it, and the process just continues from there.
なので先ほどちょっと出たタクシーなんかをジャンプさせるのもスーパーマリオサンシャインでもちょっと似たような仕様があったので、そういうところからちょっとヒントを得ています。
And so, you saw before, we were able to jump on top of the taxi, and that's something that was sort of in Super Mario Sunshine at times. So in that way, we're also getting hints from past games.
Can I quickly interject that so as I mentioned, the goal right now is to recruit these musicians. When I was first playing this game for a feedback report for the development team, I could not figure out how to get to this guy on the top of this building. You can just barely see him. He's a speck right now in that triangular building. And the way I eventually found to do it was to take a really long fall.
I did that too.
And that worked.
Oh, I feel bad for his knees.
A bit to my surprise. And I wanted to know, when you saw that report from me, what was that a problem to be solved? Was that a cool thing? What was that?
このマリオはNCR の報告書を書いていたときに、こういうふうにトランペットのバンドマンに到着できますよと書いてましたが、それを見てちょっと困っていたんでしょうか。
はい、それは読んだんですけれども、今日ここでプレイするとは思わなかったです。
Yeah, I did read that. I didn't know you were going to be playing that right now.
Troublemaker.
Well, I also know the real way. Or another way.
本当のやり方も分かってます。
でも自分でいろんなプレイの仕方を探してもらえたらと思うんですけども、それもスーパーマリオ64やスーパーマリオサンシャインから続くものだと思います。
But you found your own way to play it, and letting users play around with the game and find their own ways of doing things. That's something that goes way back in 3D Mario, in Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine as well.
So this is actually one of the two kingdoms that's going to be playable on the show floor. The show floor, of course, isn't open yet, so we don't have folks playing the game at this moment, but I'm really looking forward to talking to folks after they've played it, because I think there's so many different ways to problem solve and find the moons in these kingdoms. I'm not even sure if folks will find everything over the course of the show, but it's going to be interesting to find out how different people approached completing some of these objectives.
But the game encourages so much experimentation because you aren't kicked out of the level every time you find a moon. There is no reason not to investigate every little thing you can see that might be interesting. There's no time limit. There's no disincentive. Just lots and lots of cool stuff. Whoa! Okay.
Yeah, that is a very interesting change that adds, I think, to the immersion in the kingdoms. When you think about Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, whenever you got whatever the collectible objective was, depending on the game you were playing, you'd get bumped out of the area and you'd have to come back in. But here, since you're not going to get booted out of the kingdom when you collect a Power Moon, there's a lot of encouragement to just go check out that weird thing you saw on the horizon, because you can still continue with whatever your primary objective is. Oh no! But then, keep on tracking and finding moons.
Another reason to explore everything is that there's very little punishment for dying. I just lost 10 coins, and there's lots. So, and I get to try again right away.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah. It's also worth mentioning that the bullet bills here are coming out with visors on, so they cannot be captured until you knock their hats off, because an enemy with a hat is the scariest thing in this game.
Fashion is very important in this game. You got to be conscious of your headwear. Oh, careful.
Ah. Oh no! Well, apparently this is not my day for this challenge.
That's right. Third time's a charm, right?
Yeah. And if at first you don't succeed, give up on the third attempt.
I'm just looking at the space where we saw other sections of New Dog City, and looking here, I'm just so impressed with the texture work that's been done. And I feel like every time I see a new build of this game, more and more of these textures are just jumping out at me. It's really fun to see in person.
It is a gorgeous game, and we have some other segments later on in the stream that are going to highlight some especially pretty areas.
Oh, you got this.
Yeah.
And while I'm keeping my fingers and toes crossed, yes.
Thank you.
one thing that we haven't mentioned yet that we probably should talk a little bit about is the fact that you're playing with Joy-Con with the wrist straps attached.
Yes.
And that's a really fantastic way to play this game. It, of course, supports Pro Controller and other controller options, but you can do so much with the motion controls, and throwing Cappy feels very intuitive.
Yeah. I'm going to switch to a different section of the game. We're going to show the sand world, which is also playable on the show floor. So give me just a moment
Oh,
here.
no worries. But I do love that as you're experimenting, and I think we'll see folks doing that on the show floor here, so many of your gestures will affect how Cappy moves that while you're holding the Joy-Con with the wrist straps attached, you really want to just try moving your arms in different directions. Like, okay, I'm going to try throwing up, I'm going to throw down, throw out. But I was really impressed by how well that implementation was put into play. Here we are.
Yeah.
Oh, this place is so pretty.
So here we're in the Sand Kingdom, in the town of Tostarena. And they have a problem now because it's all frozen. Everything is cold for reasons, of course, that Mario will eventually solve.
Yeah, actually, if you hang still for a second, we can show his little idle animation when he's cold.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
really cute.
Oh, he's cold.
I love the locals here, too.
Yeah, I think he's distracted by the local dancing around, but I think if he's by himself, then he really shivers.
Oh, poor Mario.
Yeah. So let's see here. One thing I did want to show off is, so as we mentioned, there's two kinds of coins in this game. And for I believe the first time in the mainline Mario series, you can actually buy things with your coins. And I wanted to ask the developers how that came up, that currency should be worth currency.
なんでコインで買い物できるようにしたいと思ったんでしょうか。
はい。今回はコインを本当にお金として扱おうと思いました。
So we wanted, coins to be used as coins in this game. Actually, use them as money.
外国に行った時にその国のお金ってすごいなんか印象に残ってないですか。
And I think you'll agree. If you go to a foreign land, one of the things that makes the biggest impression on you is the currency.
これ使えるのとか思ったりしないですか。
You kind of look at it and you think, wait, is this real? Can I use this?
今回はマリオもいろんな国を旅しますので、その国その国のコインというものを用意しています。
And since Mario is going around to all these different kingdoms in this game, we wanted to make sure that there was a currency for each one.
要素はコレクトするコインの要素になっていますので、集めたものでコスチュームを変えたり、お土産を買うことができます。
And they're collectible items, so you can use them to buy different outfits or buy souvenirs.
お土産買うの楽しいですね。
Yeah, and it's always fun to buy souvenirs, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And speaking of shopping, we are now in Crazy Cap.
So there's two kinds of coins, as we mentioned. The purple ones are unique to the local kingdom. The yellow ones can be used in any shop. I'm going to buy, because the guy at the door said maybe I should. I'm not living up to their dress code. Maybe I should buy some clothes to fit in better. I'm going to buy a local sombrero and poncho. And wait till you see how adorable Mario looks.
Being adorable, I just love the shopkeeper.
Yeah, and their huge stack of hats.
It's so cute.
And you can see some of the souvenirs you can buy there that you can use to decorate the inside of the ship.
Nice.
And now I'm rocking this look. And let's go try that door again. So my capabilities are the same. I still have, it's still Cappy, even though he's turned into a different kind of hat now. He can turn into any kind of headwear, apparently. Exotic superpower. And, all right. So I go over and talk to this guy.
Let's see if you meet the expectations now. Ooh, snappy and lively.
Snappy and lively. I think the hat is the one and the poncho is the other. All right. And this is, of course, what the goal I was working toward all this time.
I love all these little moments of surprise where you never really know what's going to happen when you
Why
get
did I
into
want to
these
get in this room?
spaces.
I don't know. I wanted to get in this room so I could play a guitar.
You want to get in because it's locked.
Yeah, exactly. So then we're going to move on to some more traditional 3D Mario gameplay over this direction.
Now that you are terribly well dressed, it's time to go do some exploring.
Yeah.
And
And
here's
Bowser's
a-
footprints, I must be on the right track. So notice that while using the motion controls, I can actually use the little homing function on the hat more easily. It is possible with the button controls only, but it's much more difficult.
All right, the classic Goomba.
Yeah. And let's just do a big one for that. And yeah.
And that's, I guess, something folks are probably noticing here. So you're not capturing those Goomba. It's not every single enemy that's capturable.
That's true.
You've got to find the special ones.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's having a good eye and just experimenting a lot with your cap.
I think they're a shade bigger, the ones you can capture, but I'm not positive about that.
Nice.
So bullet bills, of course, are useful because you can fly with them. And now I've got to very quickly capture my ride back.
And with bullet bills, you can only capture them for a limited amount of time because at some point they're just going to blow up.
Yeah.
So you have to be a little mindful of what you're doing.
Yeah, you
when
only
you've
get
got
so
a
much
bullet
time
bill.
with the explosive guys. All right, and then almost to one of my favorite bits in this level.
Oh yeah, the next bit you're coming up to just
Yeah.
blew my mind the first time I saw it.
So
in a
this
while.
place has these murals that look like they're decorated in this cool old school aesthetic, and I'm just gonna go right on in. And I've still got my costume.
So Koizumi-san and Murakura-san, I think we definitely need to hear a little bit more background about why you added this into the game because it's so cool, but it's so unexpected as well, I think.
なんでこのような 2D の8ビットマリオのところも入れたいと思ったんでしょうか。
3D の部分は気持ちよく探索できるように比較的おおらかに作っています。
So we wanted to make something that would be, sort of a contrast with the 3D stages that you're able to explore very freely in.
2D の部分はもう少し細かく緊張感のある構成になっています。
The 2D spaces are kind of more confined. They're more precise. It's more like kind of, sort of traditional platforming elements.
同じステージの中でもそういった違った遊びっていうのを入れたかったです。
But also within the 2D stages, as you can see, we wanted to have a lot of different variety.
もちろん昔からのゲームが好きな人にも楽しんでもらえるビジュアルになっていると思います。
And of course, with the visuals, we're hoping it's something, the people who enjoyed kind of those classic nostalgic games also get a kick out of as well.
So one thing I'd love to show off when we're getting out toward the end of this space is just how much the music changes when we're transitioning back and forth. Because I know we've been chatting, maybe it's hard for some folks to hear what's been going on here, but if we just pop in and out of that warp pipe, it's a pretty impressive transition when the music changes.
But there's no warp pipe up here.
Just don't jump off. No.
Yeah,
No,
but you
don't
can
jump
now
off.
see that it's more of a naturalistic instrument. So I'm going to skip ahead and show off the last part of this scenario. Okay, so for that, I will need these. Wrist straps, people. Always wrist straps.
Yes. All set to jump in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning too that we're only covering a tiny bit of what is in this kingdom. There's so much more to do and explore.
There's just a ridiculous amount. All right, so here we are. This is much later in the level. I'm still got my snappy outfit though, and watch these bullet bills transition out of the 2D, and then I'm going to use one to break open this wall.
So another thing that's really handy about the bullet bills as a capture target that you'll see here, when you're trying to target for really precision flying, it's got a little bit of a headlamp. Oh no, no,
I'm doomed.
That's okay. But it's got a little bit of a headlamp, so you can kind of use
See
that
where
to
you're
line
pointing,
yourself
yeah.
up.
It's super handy.
That's okay, because we get to see this cute little 2D to 3D transitioning
I
in
love
with the
that.
bills.
It's so cool. All right.
All right, you got this.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
And with the bullet bills, you can also give yourself little speed bursts as well. Shaking the Joy-Con will let you go a little bit further. So it's worth experimenting once you get a feel for the timing of how long a bullet bill will last.
It's kind of like driving a car that doesn't have any brake pedal. You can go faster, you can steer, but that's all you can do. And all right, so up here we're about to confront one of the Brutals, and folks may have seen them in our original teaser trailer for this game. They are an evil wedding planning firm, and I'd love to hear more from the developers about how they came to be and what your favorite Brutal is.
ブライダルズという団体がこのペコンを企画してるグループらしいですけど、なんか一番気に入りの プライドレスは誰かいますか？
そうですね、彼らはクッパに、雇われてクッパの結婚式を成功させようとしています。
So they've, as you kind of said, they've been employed by Bowser. They're in charge of making sure his wedding goes off without a hitch.
なので結構仕事をきっちりするタイプですね。
They're very serious about their work.
Respect that.
Their work ethic is admirable.
なので真ん中にいるちょっと背の低い同じような帽子をかぶったようなキャラクターがいるんですけれども、それがリーダーなので僕はそのトッパーというキャラクターがお気に入りです。
And my favorite is Topper, the kind of shorter one who has that green top hat.
Yeah, guy in green. Yeah.
Yeah, Topper.
How about you, Koizumi-san? Do you have a favorite?
小泉さんもなんかキリンのカラー。
そうですね、ちょうど今出てるのがハリエットっていうその可愛いウサギさんの、キャラクターなんですけども、なんか可愛い香りしてるのに結構凶暴なんで、そのコントラストがすごい面白いなと思ってます。
This is really good timing because the character I like the most is the one you're fighting right now, Harriet. She has this great contrast between her cute appearance and like how devilish she is. She's sort of like the tricky little sister of the group here.
Her attacks are really fun to watch as well, especially when she starts flying around.
And it's worth mentioning, you fight each of the Brutals a few times, but their tactics get more and more intense and dangerous.
But I'll be honest, having planned a wedding last year, I would take the help of evil wedding planner.
Yeah, I mean, any evil help is better than no help.
And they're very dedicated to their work.
And they're willing to fight your enemies for you, and that's pretty great.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
かわいそう。
Sorry, Harriet.
Now she'll be back. All right, so that's a grand moon worth 3 power moons.
And there we see Cappy in his natural state as well.
There he is, celebrating with Mario.
Nice.
Nice. All right, so that's what we have for gameplay for right now. But we did have one more little feature, I believe.
Yes, we've got some new goodies that have turned up here on stage with us. So these are the amiibo for the game. We've got Princess Peach, Bowser, and Mario in their wedding outfits. And I just need to ask you guys about the development process for these, because the detail of the sculpting is incredible. It must have been a very interesting process getting these to the state they're in here.
このアミーバはすごいなんか細かい作り方になっているようですので、それについてちょっと説明していただけますか。
はい、ヒロインであるピーチ姫をより可愛く魅力的に作っています。
So first of all, we've got our heroine Peach, and we wanted to make sure that she just looked, absolutely stunning.
あとクッパとマリオもそのお相手であることに十分なビジュアルとしてデザインしています。
And then from there, we have Mario and Bowser as well, and we had to make sure that, in terms of visuals, they weren't going to lose out.
They got to keep up.
Yeah, they got to keep up. Yeah.
あとこのポージングっていうのも今回のテーマに合わせて物語性を持たせているのが特徴になっています。
And another characteristic of these is that the posing is very kind of direct to the story and what's going to be happening in the game.
Yeah, Mario's got kind of a humble bow thing going, and Bowser's kind of looking like I own the world.
And I think Bowser looks pretty dapper here, though.
Yeah.
But it is really amazing. I don't know how close we can get the camera here. We got a better look here, but in person, the texture, where some of them have almost like a pearlized kind of texture, and there's a lot of subtlety with the different kinds of fabric. You can really see a lot of nuance for these amiibo. I'm really looking forward to people seeing them in person.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
And I wonder, at this point, is there anything you'd like to share about the functionality of amiibo for our viewers?
そしてアミーボの機能性について何か説明していただけますか。
ですね。アミーボはコスチュームを手に入れることができたり、あとはゲームの中でのお助け機能として活用することができます。
So you'll be able to use the amiibo to get different costumes within the game, and then they'll also have kind of an assist function.
And we do have existing amiibo that are supported as well. I think we'll be talking more about that at a later point. But I think that's all we're allowed to show for right now, unfortunately.
Right now. We'll be showing more of this game later on
Yes,
in
we'll
the
definitely do
stream,
that.
of course.
But Motokura-san and Koizumi-san, thank you again so much for joining us here and sharing some of the insight about the development process of the game.
今日来ていただきありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
Thank you.
very much.
And folks who are watching, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be back in a few seconds here with our next segment, so please don't go anywhere.
Here we go, off the rails. Don't you know it's time to raise our sails? It's freedom like you never knew. Don't need bags or a pass. Say the word, I'll be there in a flash. You could say my hat is off to you. Oh, we can zoom all the way to the moon from this great wide wacky world. Jump with me, grab coins with me, oh yeah. It's time to jump up in the air. Jump up, don't be scared. Jump up and your cares will soar away. And if the dark clouds start to swirl, don't feel a shed a tear, 'cause I'll be your one-up girl. So let's all jump up super high, high up in the sky. There's no power up like dancing. You know that you're my superstar, so no one else can take me this far. I'm flipping the switch. Get ready for this song. Let's do the Odyssey. Odyssey, yes, see. 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 Odyssey, Odyssey. Spin the wheel, take a chance. Every journey starts a new romance. A new world's calling out to you. Take a turn off the path. Find a new addition to the cast. You know that any captain needs a crew. Take it in stride as you move side to side. They're just different points of view. Jump with me, grab coins with me, oh yeah. Come on and jump up in the air. Jump without a care. Jump up 'cause you know that I'll be there. And if you find you're short on joy, don't focus, don't forget that you're still a one-up boy. So go on, straighten up your cap. Let your toes begin to tap. This rhythm is a power
Hey everybody, welcome back to Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3. I'm Sam from the Treehouse, and for this segment I'm joined by my colleagues Reggie and Teresa. So Reggie, how you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. The spotlight was, as I said, direct to the point. The reaction by the fans has been fantastic. I mean, certainly Super Mario Odyssey and what we showed from that. The little snippet of Metroid Prime 4 had the fans just tremendously excited. And, you know, it continues our overall message of how we approach E3 and what it is that we're trying to do. For us, it's all about showcasing content, typically content that's near in. So obviously we showed a little bit of ARMS, a little bit of Splatoon 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 coming later on this year. And then we also showed a couple little snippets of things that are coming a little bit further along. But so far the reaction has been fantastic, and it just continues, right? And that's why we're here on Treehouse Live, a little bit more in-depth view of the games, and so far so good.
Right on. I know we're kind of in the calm before the storm right now. The floor still isn't open, so we can actually still see the carpet. It hasn't been packed with people yet. You've had a chance to do some exploring around the booth. What do you think of New Dog City come to life here at E3? You
know, the booth is fantastic. The team that we have that works on the booth design and the look and the feel, both from an NOA perspective as well as with the headquarter team at NCL, every year they are outdoing themselves. Last year it was the takeover with Breath of the Wild. This year it's all about New Donk City and creating an environment for consumers to really go deep into the game. About half of the booth is all about Super Mario Odyssey. The other half we're showcasing all of our other content, including third-party content. We're showing FIFA 18 out on the floor. So it's a great booth, and as you say, this is the calm before the storm. Just as I was coming in earlier, there are already thousands of people out there just waiting to come in. And typically when the doors open, it's like the running of the bulls and they all come crashing into our booth. So it's going to be fantastic.
Nice. I remember last year we were down on the ground floor and you could actually feel the rumble in the ground when people started coming in.
That's right.
It's going to be fun when
it's going to be exciting. But again, you know, for us, the spotlight was a focus on Nintendo Switch games. What people don't understand is that as we construct our overall presence at E3, we're very thoughtful around what's the best way to show content. And so Nintendo 3DS is going to play a key role here on Treehouse Live. We've got content that we'll be showing today. We've got content that we'll be showing really throughout the 3 days that we're here. And it's important that the fans at home and our consumers understand that Nintendo 3DS is still a vibrant part of our business. Obviously with Pokemon Ultra Sun, Pokemon Ultra Moon that was announced last week, that's going to be a fantastic holiday driver for us. We've got other great games coming, and you know, what people don't realize is that Nintendo 3DS was the only platform that grew last year in 2016 versus 2015. The only one.
That's pretty impressive.
And we've sold 66 million globally of Nintendo 3DS. Again, more than any other platform in this generation. People don't know that. I've got my handy-dandy new 2DS XL, and obviously in continuing to showcase new hardware. You know, for us, it's all about continuing to drive that momentum.
It's nice that the family keeps growing. And now we've got this adorable little member to add to it as well.
It is
exactly.
really pretty.
It is really pretty, and it really showcases great. I'm playing Miitopia, right? One of the fun things about my job is I get to play the games early. I'm playing Miitopia. I've got Mii's of Mr. Aonuma, Mr. Miyamoto, Mr. Koizumi is in there. And of course, I had to have Bill as the Dark Lord, right? So I'm really enjoying it on my my new 2DS XL, and it's fantastic.
It's pretty sweet when you can play games and you're like, it's work. I'm doing this because I have to do this.
Well, you know, so a funny story is I'm playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and putting in a lot of hours in that. I've got my family saying, so, you know, you're doing this just for E3, right? You're doing this because you have to be able to show off and tell people you finished the game, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
and it's like, no, I'm doing it because I enjoy it and I want to do it. And so it's fantastic.
I don't know, using the work excuse might be a good way to get out of chores. You're like, sorry, honey, I have to do this. I have to keep playing this game.
No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It means I have to play early in the morning or late at night. So.
And actually thinking of other things that we've got going on in the booth here and just over the course of E3, we probably should touch a little bit on the tournament activity we've going on, because right below us there's a pretty boss stage that has been constructed.
Well, absolutely. And again, the tournament activity is a key part of what we're doing here at E3. 3 different tournaments, starting off with Splatoon 2 later on today. Then we've got Pokken Tournament DX. We've got ARMS. Hopefully everyone saw how I humiliated Jeff Keighley playing ARMS on his show. But that game is going to really show well, I think, from the tournament scene standpoint. And for us, supporting the tournament community and really driving that part of our engagement with our fans is really important to us. So we're very excited to see how the three tournaments play here at E3.
Yeah, I think it's been really fun watching people play ARMS, and especially watching high-level competitive players get into the real meat on the bones of that game. And there's such a level of nuance to the strategy and the actual technical ability that I've watched a few folks where they're maybe pro Smash players or pro players for another series, so they really are used to getting into the nitty-gritty and into the weeds of the mechanics. And you'll just see their eyes light up as they start playing ARMS. And it's, oh, I'm getting this. This has got some interesting depth and flexibility to it. And I mean, even within the office, watching who's been picking which character as their mains and how we're gradually sort of growing as players as we're duking it out against one another. But it's been a real fun ride.
It's going to be exciting. I'm really excited to see how the players we have showcase that game, how they showcase Pokken Tournament as well. I saw a little bit of the pre-gaming going on, and that's going to be fantastic. So it's going to be very exciting for us.
So what else are you thinking as far as some must-see titles that we got going on here? Because we've got a lot to cover.
Well, we've got a lot. I mean, again, everything that we have on the floor here is showcasing and showing off fantastically well. I'm pleased to see the third-party support. We've got Rabbids on our show floor. Ubisoft obviously has that game in their area. That is really fun. I've been able to get my hands on that game. That is really fun to play. So it's going to be very exciting. We've got Fire Emblem Warriors here on our booth. That game is showcasing well. Really, everything we have shows so well, and I'm really thrilled to see what we're doing with third party as well.
And if we can jump to this, I think on this subject of cool titles, you've actually got something. A surprise for us, maybe?
I have a nice little surprise, right? And I said when I was with Keighley that literally within the first hour of Treehouse Live, we would be breaking news. And that is what Treehouse Live is going to be doing all through the next 3 days. So we have some news. We have a world premiere of a new game. This is a Nintendo 3DS game that'll be launching later on this year. We're going to play for you the video for this new game, and then Teresa's going to demo it, and we've got the developers who are going to come talk about it as well. World premiere game announcement on Nintendo 3DS just for you.
Well, surprise.
Yes, I'm so excited to actually talk about this game.
Yes, so welcome back, everyone, to Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3. I'm Audrey. I'm here with Teresa and Tim, and we have two very special guests with us. We have Sakamoto-san, the legendary creator of the Metroid series, as well as Jose from Mercury Steam. So thank you so much for joining us today. And as we just saw, we're going to take a look at Metroid, Samus Returns.
That's
so
right.
you've waited long enough. Let's jump right into it.
Yeah, let's jump right in to the start. So for the people at home that aren't familiar with the Metroid franchise, this is Nintendo's premier exploration-based sci-fi action game. It features Samus Aran, who's a renowned bounty hunter, and she's been sent by the Galactic Federation to planet SR388 to investigate and annihilate the Metroids.
She's the best at what she does.
Oh yeah, she's super cool. And this is actually a reimagination of the original Game Boy Classic that was released in 1991, Metroid 2, Return of Samus. And this game is just, it's beautiful. It's
a little bit shinier than the Game Boy version.
Yes, it is. And this game is still about discovery and exploration. You know, there's intense boss battles, and there's so many pathways to discover, and you can take your time through it.
And this is classic 2D Metroid to a T. It's got the isolation, the exploration, and of course Samus just generally being amazing.
Yeah, and the great thing about this being on the 3DS is that there's so much detail in the background, and it's really heightened with the 3D feature on. And you can't see it at home right now, but it does feel really, really good.
Yeah, it sounds cheesy, but it adds a lot of depth to the experience.
Yeah. Oh, and something I want to actually show here on the show floor. So in the past, Samus was able to aim at 45-degree angles, but now she has this whole range of motion, which really allows for precision here.
It's really nice because, especially as you get further into the game, there are enemies all over the place, so having the freedom to shoot anywhere you like is incredible.
Yeah. So the free aim. Oh, thank you. So the free aim here is also really cool here, where when I'm actually moving it, and I actually have an enemy on sight and target, the audio cue will change, and also that it will highlight in red. So again, it allows for a little bit more precision here.
Yeah, it's still up to you to aim precisely, but that nice visual indicator is just very helpful.
Yeah, and Samus here has her very basic abilities, and so as I keep exploring and seeing new environments, I'll hopefully gather new abilities to upgrade my suit. So this is another new ability that Samus has in this game, and it's a melee counter. And if I time it appropriately and immediately shoot, I do a critical hit on the enemy. But in the circumstance that I don't immediately shoot, I have some time to actually just shoot from afar and give myself a little bit more leeway to not get hit.
The melee counter is a new ability, as you mentioned, and it's really great because this game gets challenging.
Oh yeah.
It's very, very difficult. And since we have Sakamoto-san here, while we're speaking about challenges, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about some of the challenges you encountered while developing this game.
このタイトルを開発中に出くわしたチャレンジや課題は何だったのでしょうか。
はい。メトロイドに限ったことじゃないんですけれども、ある程度確立されたゲームデザインのゲームに今までやったことのない新しい要素を加えるというのはとても難しいことなんですね。
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if you qualify it as a big challenge, but something that we face whenever we're working on something like this with an established style of gameplay. It's adding, what sort of new elements can we add to something that again is established and has had some success in the past.
特に今までのシリーズファンの方々が満足していただけて、それでいて刺激的というものを追加するのは非常に難易度が高いって思っていました。
Yes, I mean, I really felt that it would be difficult, or could be difficult, to bring in new elements that would add a lot of excitement and at the same time make the fans of the franchise, happy and satisfied.
でも今回のサムスリターンズではうまくいきました。
But I think this time with Samus Returns, I think we've done a really good job.
なぜかというと、私は非常に素晴らしいパートナーに巡り会えたからですね。
And why is that? It's because we found this really amazing partner to work with.
Mercury Steam さんです。
And that's Mercury Steam.
星さんありがとう。
Thank you very much, Jose.
Thanks to you.
Yes, thanks to both of you. Yes. And as we were speaking, you actually got Samus's legendary Morph Ball ability.
I did, and this is very, very handy to get, as you can see, through certain tunnels here. Here's a save station, which I don't quite need right now. So I'm going to keep on going and exploring this area. And here, this is a pretty bleak area from where I just was. And you'll see this gate here.
And this is a little different from the original game.
Yeah, it definitely is. And for people that haven't played the Metroid 2 in the past, this purple liquid is actually very painful. And I'll just kind of...
Yeah, don't... Oh,
yep.
She did it.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah, so I can't really go down there, and I want to, and I can't really interact with this right now, so I'm going to keep on moving forward and see...
And that's the nature of this game, is you'll come across areas that you just can't survive in yet, you just can't get past, and you'll have to acquire new tools and abilities to be able to keep exploring and keep pushing forward.
Exactly. So since I couldn't go through the door, I went up and around it. So I'm going to keep on moving forward, and this is also a brand new feature to the Metroid franchise. These are Aeon abilities. Aeon is a very mystical and powerful energy source, and they actually give abilities to Samus that are very different from the technical upgrades that she gets for her suit. So this one that I just gathered is called the Scan Pulse. And what it does is that... I should remind people that the Aeon abilities are actually not... They're limited. You can't just spam them whenever you want to. And so they'll have their own energy, and you'll have to gather... power-ups for them, and also more energy in order to refill that tank. So
this
just to
first
showcase,
one is Scan Pulse.
Yeah. So to showcase the Scan Pulse, if you see the bottom screen, the map usually kind of explores once you start moving. But if I use the Scan Pulse, it'll actually open up this quadrant of map already for me. And also on the upper screen, it'll show these blocks that I can easily break. So now I know that, there was an actual hidden path there. So.
And normally, you would just have to shoot everywhere to try and find breakable blocks. And you can still do it that way if you want to. But if you have the Aeon to pull it off, this Scan Pulse is also very, very helpful.
Yeah, keep in mind, though, that not everything can be easily broken with your laser. So, that's kind of some ammo that you'd have to waste. And it's nice to actually have the Aeon ability to strategize about, which one am I going to use? Am I going to use my ammo, or am I going to use the Aeon ability in order to keep on discovering and exploring?
Absolutely. And, throughout her long career, Samus has had a lot of unique abilities at her disposal. And as we've seen already, this game adds even more. So, Jose, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about the process you guys went through of adding new abilities like the melee counter or the Aeon abilities.
Yes, well, from the beginning, Sakamoto-san wanted Christine to challenge ourselves to bring new ideas to the series. So we were given freedom to prototype a lot of different ideas and mechanics and see which ones would better fit within the Metroid universe. And once these ideas and mechanics were discovered, it was just a matter of iterating and polishing the design.
Oh, wonderful. They really add a lot to the experience, so good work.
Yes, they do. So here's an energy station, and I'm a little bit low, so I'm just going to take that.
You always want to take advantage of those energy stations. Every little bit of health matters.
Yeah, for sure. You'll notice that a beeping started. That's actually my Metroid detector, and it's telling me that there is a Metroid nearby. Again, for people that don't really know what Metroids are, they're an alien species that they're pretty dangerous. And they suck up the life form of any alien species in order to survive.
Yeah, you don't want to hug a Metroid necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing I want to showcase here is actually the mapping system that this game has. So now that, in case I'm not able to go through a door because I don't have the ability to unlock it.
Which happens a lot.
Yes. I have these pins now that I can just drop it onto the map, and then that'll kind of be my note for myself that, I want to revisit this later once I grab an ability, and maybe I can try it later.
And as you mentioned, this game is so much about exploration and going back and trying to find every square inch of the map to find all of the many hidden secrets. So this pin system is actually very, very useful.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting close, but I'm going to go investigate this area.
Your Metroid senses are still tingling, so keep searching.
He's getting closer because the beeping is getting a little bit more insistent.
Oh, nice. Found a hidden missile tank.
Yeah, but see, there was an example where I kind of knew already that this pass was there, but the scan pulse would have been very useful right there to kind of show those blocks. Here's another save station. So, see, there we go. Scan pulse told me that that block is breakable, but I can't shoot it. So I'm gonna try a missile instead. It's open.
And that's a good point. If you ever run into an area you can't progress past, use all of your weapons and abilities. Oh, it's a little friend. Hi, friend.
That was a metroid, but we're actually not fighting him. We're actually fighting its first evolution. And this is known the Alpha Metroid.
He looks twice as friendly as a regular Metroid.
So if I time it correctly, I can actually melee counter him, and it gives me an advantage to actually hit him for more damage. You'll also see that he'll drop these little sparks. If I actually hit those sparks, I'll get more ammo replenishment. So in case I end up using all of my missiles, I could always go around him and try to shoot those in order to get more missiles.
Nice melee countering. And I'll say, I don't know how well the home audience can hear this, but the sound effects in this game are incredible. The music, the atmospheric sounds are just really great. So Sakamoto-san, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about what went into the development of the soundtrack for this game.
サウンドトロや SC に関しての、その開発、その制作した感じ、および受けた影響などについて話していただけますでしょうか。はい、
今回のサムスリターンズでは、スーパーメトロイドの時のゲームサウンドのコンポーザーが2人参加しています。
Well, we have two of the composers who worked on Super Metroid on the team for Samus Returns.
彼らはもうそれ以降のメトロイドシリーズの音楽をずっと担当してますので、もう僕が何も言わなくてももうこうしてほしいという音楽をどんどん提供してくれるんでも安心です。
And they've worked on pretty much every Metroid title since that time, doing music for us. And so I really don't have to say anything. They just go do what they do, and what they do is create great music.
Excellent. Well, lock them up. Don't ever let them go.
Whoops.
So you made quick work of that Alpha Metroid. Good work.
I did. So I'm actually going to go return to that gate that I couldn't get to before. And see what happens now. As I make my way there. So in the original Metroid 2, whenever you defeated a certain prerequisite number of Metroids, the ground would rumble, and then you would know that you would be able to proceed to the next area. So now, in this game, you have these gates, and if you press on it and you enter the Metroid DNA that you had just gathered from the Metroid you just killed, it will enter into this gate, unlock, reduce this hazardous liquid that was killing me before, and now I'm able to get to the next area.
It's really cool having this really visual cue of your progress in the game as well.
Yeah. So now I'm going to go to a later area in the game.
And we've gotten a glimpse of it a little bit, but the 3DS hardware really goes a long way in bringing this world to life. It helps communicate the isolation of Samus being stuck on this alien planet. So, Sakamoto-san, could you speak a little to how you used the 3DS tech to bring this world to life and really reimagine it?
3DS 技術が没入感、雰囲気、それ上にこの未知の惑星サムスの一人の、孤独感をより高めていると思いますが、3DS 用にどういうふうにその技術を使って、この世界を、創造し直されたのでしょうか。
はい、確かにおっしゃる通り、今回のというか、サムスのこのゲームですね、ここでは3D の立体視というものが非常に効果的だと思います。例えばじゃあ技術面でホセさん何かありますか？
So yeah, I mean, I do think that with this title, of course, with Samus, the 3D, the glasses-free 3D, the 3D effects are put to great use. It really does help build the world that we're exploring. But I'd like to go ahead and ask Jose to talk a little bit about some of the more technical aspects.
Yes, it was very clear to us from the beginning that if we wanted to convey to the player the greatness of the inner depths of the planet and the past glory of the Joseon civilization, we had to provide a big sense of scale thanks to the depth given by the 3DS capabilities. So we wanted to reflect this from early on in the development process, this scale, through the first initial concept arts.
Thank you so much. Oh, and you've gotten yourself in trouble, Teresa.
Yeah, I always do. I ran into his room and he didn't like me being here.
Oh, you woke him up from a nap. Don't do that.
But I'm stuck here until he gives me leave.
And now's not the time to play with it necessarily, but I wanted to point out that you also got your spider ball upgrade.
That's right, and
really handy.
I also got bombs here. So these are actually very handy for taking him out. Oh my gosh.
So while you play with your new friend, this is obviously an enemy from the original game, and that brings to mind the fact that all of the enemies have actually been redesigned for this version. So, Jose, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about what the process was for redesigning the enemies from the original game.
Yes, we wanted to respect the visual design of the regular enemies as much as possible, but we had to adapt their attacks, movements, and behaviors so they could fit with our new gameplay, and without making them lose much of their original feel in the process. And as for the Metroids, they were the stars of the show, along with Samus in the original game, and this we wanted also to be the same in our game. And they suffer a massive overhaul from the visuals of the original game and in their gameplay mechanics. And also we wanted to clearly show the transition in their life form from one Metroid to another. And this is something that is very clearly reflected in the movements, behaviors, and attacks.
Thank you. And good work, Teresa.
Oh, thank you. So I could actually take the spider ball, and the spider ball is actually an ability here that's very, very unique to Metroid 2. But I'm actually going to do a very hard technique that I am not doing very good right now. I swear I practiced this.
The bomb jump.
Oh no. All right, well, last
Metroid
try.
fans have spent hours trying to get to the craziest places using bomb jump.
Oh no.
But as you're trying to work your way around this map, that also brings me to the point that a lot of the maps have been redesigned for the new system. So, Jose, can you speak a little to the process of redesigning the maps as well?
Yes, we wanted to respect as much as possible the original layout of the original game because it has such a distinct structure within the Metroid series. And well, we wanted to add a lot of new things because we wanted to be felt also new. And we added lots of sections different from the original game because we wanted to accommodate all of our gameplay needs. And also we wanted the game to be more, the exploration to be more dynamic and diverse than in the original game, introducing some classic abilities from other games in the series but that were not present in the original game. And also we added some new, of course, special abilities that are unique to this title. So the combination of both made us realize some very interesting situations regarding level design for players to actively figure out their way forward in new ways.
Thank you.
Actually, before I take this elevator, I want to show this. This is also a new feature to Metroid Samus Returns, and it's a teleport station. This actually helps a lot with the mobility of the game, where instead of backtracking all the way through previous areas, you can actually use the teleport to quickly jump into a new area. And this actually really helps when you're trying to gather some items that you weren't able to in the past or explore new pathways that you weren't able to before. I'm not going to take it right now. I'm actually going to go back and take this elevator to a new area.
But you're right, it's such a huge addition to the game, being able to more quickly get to the areas you've already been to and find all those juicy secrets you weren't able to get at before.
Well, because like gathering all these items, it actually rewards you in the end because it does get more difficult
really
as
hard.
you further get into the planet, and the baddies do get really hard. So you definitely want to get all those upgrades and the items, and it rewards you. But you can also choose not to if you want a challenge. So I've visited previous lava rooms before, so I know that this red door looks a little bit dangerous, but I'm going to go in anyway just to show.
You're a rebel.
Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, I don't want that. Okay, so I'm going to actually use the scan pulse because I see there's something up there, and I'm pretty sure there's a pathway, but just to make sure.
While you have the Aeon energy, might as well.
There you go.
Excellent.
So we're gonna go up here.
I love how if you had just shot up above you, it would have looked like there wasn't anything to break. So
Yeah.
it's actually good that you used your scan pulse right there.
Yeah, I have gotten lost more than once. Here's another suit upgrade.
Oh, I love this.
This does feel really good.
This animation
Really
feels
epic.
nice. And I love how vibrant the colors are. It's just, this world is so Metroid, so beautifully
Yeah.
Metroid.
And it's just, again, it's really cool when the 3D feature is on because you get to see all the stuff that's happened in the background. But yeah, so I'm gonna go in here.
You know, Samus has her classic suits.
Yeah, her various suit. So I can't go here, so let's try going back to the way we came from. Whoop.
Oh,
that was close.
That was close.
That was very close. I like to play dangerously.
And now you can survive the very,
Yes.
very hot
So
lava.
we're gonna explore this room now. And we could always go back and explore other lava rooms to see what we missed.
I have to point out that this is all one planet, this is all SR388, but look how different the environments are. It's a big planet.
Oh,
so
yeah.
There's a lot of different areas
And
and,
there's
a lot of variety.
so much variety, yeah. And every area is just so colorful and unique on its own. So here I'm going to show a new Aeon ability called Lightning Armor. And what it does, it gives this green glow to Samus, but also overcharges my melee and lets me go through enemies without taking much damage. But it does take away from my Aeon pool. And so I want to actually save it in case I need it later.
Yeah, every time you get hit, it actually makes your Aeon gauge go down. So you
That's
can't
right.
just run foolishly through a group of enemies unless you want to feel a lot of pain.
Yeah, so here's another door that I'm unfortunately not able to get in through. So I'm going to do another pin here. But I'm also going to show here, there's this information screen that will actually see, it will show different items that are shown in the map. And if you're not quite sure what that icon means, it will actually tell you here. And it will actually unlock too once you've discovered it and you know how to interact with it. So definitely keep an eye on these because these are actually really informative.
It'll help you remember what you already know.
Yeah.
And we've already seen a few new Chozo artifacts, but that brings me to the question, Sakamoto-san, can you tell us a little bit about the decision to integrate more Chozo artifacts into this version of the game?
他のメトロイドゲームに比べて、この作品は、より多く彫像の作り出したものがあると思いますが、その背景について教えていただけますか。
はい、このゲームの舞台になっている SR388 という惑星は彫像文明が栄えて、そして滅んでしまったという、そういう非常に謎を秘めた舞台なんですね。
So, you know, this game is set on SR388, and it's a planet that was home to the Chozo civilization at one point, and so it saw the Chozo flourish, and it also saw them crumble. So this whole area has this historical background of being a place just sort of filled with lots of riddles.
なので彫像文明の遺跡であるとか、そういったものがたくさん、はい、あるわけですね。
So that's why you see all of these, again, Chozo ruins that you mentioned throughout the game.
サムスリターンズ遊んでいただくと、その文明の謎がある程度わかるんじゃないかなと思って。
And I think if you get a chance to play Samus Returns, you might find some of the answers to the riddles that the Chozo civilization left behind.
What a tease he is.
さらに謎が深まるんじゃないかなと。
But it is possible that there may be some new and more intriguing riddles introduced through the game as well.
Oh, fine. I guess everyone's just gonna have to wait and see.
もうネタバレしないようにね、はい、自分で皆さん頑張ってプレイしてもらいたいですね。
And
Should do some
Teresa,
surprises.
you've gotten yourself into trouble again.
I did. So this is the second evolution of the Metroid species. This is the Gamma. I was able to do a counter melee on him finally as he came up close to me. But I'm also going to use Ice Beam because it seems to be really weak to his nucleus. So I'm just going to keep on attacking him. But yeah, he's got a dynamic set of moves. He's swooping down on me. He's throwing electricity on me.
But that's a good point. If you're ever fighting an enemy or a boss and your weapon of choice doesn't seem to be making a big dent, try one of your other weapons or abilities because
That's right.
they might be a little more successful.
And since I'm a little bit low on health, I'm gonna feel safer if I put on my lightning armor. So I'm just gonna go here. Oh. Come on, buddy.
You've made him mad.
Yeah, he is not happy with me.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. Those spider legs are really creepy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of spiders, so yeah, this guy creeps me out.
Oh, he's turned red though, so you're doing well.
Yes,
Almost there.
I should be almost there.
And that's another kind of visual indicator to show you that you're getting closer to making mincemeat of this guy.
Yeah, and there's all those audio cues too for when's the right time to oh boy.
Oh.
When's the right time to melee him? So it only happens when he goes down on the ground. But yes, I was able to successfully kill him.
Good work.
All right. Well, with that, I actually want to show another later area in the game because I think it'd be really cool to show the fans. So.
Excellent. Let's do it. So while you switch to your other save file, Sakamoto-san and Jose, we were hoping you could tell us a little bit about how you went about balancing this game, because there's obviously a lot of abilities, and it must have been difficult to balance making them feel useful to players without taking away from the challenge.
やはり新しい要素をゲームに追加するとそのバランス取るのが大変難しいと思います。やはりまあ十分な能力は提供したいけれども簡単になりすぎたら困るし、どうやってそのバランスを取ったのでしょうか。
はい。そうですね。やっぱり強力な武器っていうのは使うと爽快ですし、まあお客さんも使いたいでしょうし、我々もまあどんどん使っていただけというのはまああります。
Well, of course, it feels great. It's exhilarating to use these really powerful and dynamic abilities, and players want to use them, and we want them to use them, of course.
ただそれをやたら使ってしまうとゲームがすごく簡単になりすぎたりとか、あと新鮮味が失われたり、緊張感が失われていったりして、どんどん刺激がなくなっていって価値が下がってしまうという懸念があるわけです。
But one of the things we have to be careful of is if we overuse them, if we make them too powerful, it reduces some of the tension that you feel in the game, and it sort of has the counter effect of actually reducing the excitement and sort of that thrill that we want players to feel. So again, it's a really delicate balance.
サムスリターンズでいうとビームバーストっていうその連射ができる機能があって、これが一番その例に今打ちましたね。これのバランスと非常に難しくて、やはり消費量であるとかその効果であるとかその供給量、このバランスをうまく整えるのに非常にチューニングを繰り返しまして、マーキュリースティームさんにもいろいろとご迷惑をかけたんじゃないかなと思います。
Well, yeah, and I think a good example of some of the difficulty in that fine tuning is what we just saw on screen. It's this beam burst. And what's difficult again about finding that balance is you have to measure the effect of the weapon, and you also have to take into consideration the amount of energy uses and the supply of energy that's available to you, and trying to come up with again a balance that works throughout the game and keeps all of those factors in mind. It can be quite challenging. I think we put quite a load on Mercury's team and having them do that, but I think they did a remarkably good job.
Yes, I completely agree with Sakamoto-san's words. It was difficult to balance the new abilities, not only because they can be used alone, but only because they can be used in combination between them, and also they can be combined with the classic abilities too. So at the end, it was pretty tough, but we, however, are very confident that we finally found the best possible balance for all players to fully enjoy them.
I think you achieved a great balance, and trust me, it's still difficult.
Alright, so my metroid detector went off again. And this is the Gamma Husk, so I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be facing him.
Maybe it's something cuddlier. Oh, hey, little guy.
Or maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
So this is the next evolution. This is the Zeta, and he's pretty gnarly. I'm not a big fan of him. And as Sakamoto-san was saying that about the beam burst, I actually wanted to showcase this other Aeon ability because it is so it's so cool and it feels really powerful. Oh, and I missed my moment to the melee counter.
He does so much damage too.
He does. But I'm going to use a combination of abilities here, from missile to grapple to beam burst.
You really have to be on your game with this guy because he switches up his patterns a lot.
Oh, he does.
He's hard to predict.
And Yeah, he's hard to predict, and he totally aims for me too. Like he's got me down.
Nice. That's just a beautiful melee counter too. I love how it slows down time and it has that really cinematic presentation.
Yes, it feels so epic and actiony, and I absolutely love it. And this is my least favorite move. This one gets me every time. Oh God. Oh.
And now you died on purpose so that we could see Zero Suit Samus.
She looks
Hi.
so elegant there.
Beautiful, yes. So thank you.
You're welcome. I aim to please.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna try this again.
Yes, you can do this. We all believe in you.
I'm gonna skip the cutscene because I can. I'm gonna get right into that. All right.
Wow. Nice melee counter right off the top.
Oh, he was nice enough to give it to me, so I'll take it.
Yes.
Oh no. Get to the other side, so I got a good shot of his nucleus. Ah.
You know, he's not invited to your birthday party anymore.
No.
He ruined it.
I like green, but not in my face. No.
Oh. And as we're showcasing here, the new abilities, your beam burst there, your lightning armor, they add to the experience, but as to the balance they were talking about earlier, they definitely don't make it easier. You have the ion gauge, and you can't spam these abilities at all. I mean, I think you're already out of them, so.
Oh, again.
It's all right. Third time's the charm.
He's pretty strong. Yeah,
He's pretty awful.
I'm hopeful that this third time I can get it.
Yes. You have the power of Samus at your disposal.
I have all her abilities. All right, let's try this again.
Oh, of course.
Oh, I missed him. He missed me at that time. That was lucky.
Oh. He's gonna feel that tomorrow.
Hope so. So mean.
That was your favorite.
Oh God, I absolutely hate this ability.
You know, he's more afraid of you than you are of him.
Is
Remember
that really
That's
the case?
truth.
I don't think he cares much about me. Oof.
Oh boy. Just when you think you have a handle on it, he switches it up.
Oh, yeah, I know. I always need to be on guard with him because it's never the same pattern or consistent at all.
You're getting really close though. I think you can do this.
Oh, I don't know. I got one bar left. Oh. No. No.
Oh, so close.
All right, I can do it. I can do this. I
We
swear.
believe in you. This is the time. And he's not going to do that move that
Maybe
you hate over and over again.
Maybe Sakamoto-san can give me some tips.
何かヒントありませんでしょうか。
頑張ってください。
Good luck. Do your best.
That's all I get.
No pressure having the creator of Metroid watching you.
No.
I love how dynamic the beam burst looks.
It is. It feels so good. And I ran out of Aeon energy. Ah, that was my best one.
Oh no. Gotta do it the old-fashioned way now.
Missiles it is.
Oh,
Oh, that was close. Come at me. Come on.
just stay down.
Yes.
Oh, finished with the melee counter. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Well worth the
Ah,
wait.
Thank you.
Good work,
Good work, good
Teresa.
Well, that is all we have to show for game footage, but we do have some cool announcements to also show to the folks at home, so
Yes.
I'm really excited.
Shall we?
Oh, we shall. All right, so as you probably might have seen in the very beginning of the game, the surface area, amiibo functionality is active in this game. It does support the two Samus, the Zero Suit Samus and the regular Samus from the Super Smash Bros. Line, but there's also two new amiibo that we're so excited to show you guys. So we actually have them right here. I'm gonna ask you to hold. Actually, no, I'm gonna give you the honors of holding him because he's so awesome.
My little friend.
So you get the Metroid, and this is the best part. He's actually squishy.
He's actually feels like a Metroid.
It's so cool, and he's like breaking out of this little case and everything.
Yup.
And then you also have Samus. Again here, but she's in her classic Metroid 2 pose, and that is just so cool. Like the amount of detail that's around her, it's so amazing. She feels so cool.
And
So
then
yeah.
these are going to be great additions to my collection, maybe your collection.
Oh yeah, definitely
Yes.
my collection. I'm a super big fan of Metroid. So we can't unfortunately tell you what the functionality is in this segment, but we will announce it at a later time. But we wanted to show you these because they're so cool.
Yes.
Yes, and
before we go, we
Yeah.
wanted to ask if Sakamoto-san and Jose have any final thoughts they'd like to tell our studio
最後に何か一言か何か発表したいこと何かありますでしょうかね。
どうしたんですか？
Yes, I wanted to thank Sakamoto-san and Nintendo for relying on us to develop this new Metroid game. So thank you so much.
Yeah. 私たちもマーキュリー・スティームさんというすごくいいパートナーに巡り会えて2D メトロイドの可能性をすごく広げることができて非常にハッピーです。
Yeah, I think
Thank you.
We are very happy, of course, to have come, been lucky enough to team up with Mercury Steam on this project, and we really feel that the world, the potential for the 2D Metroid franchise has really just opened up for us a lot. So thank you so much.
そしてもう一つあれですよね、お知らせが
And I
あ
got
るん
one
ですよ
other
ね。
thing I'd like to talk about today.
Oh boy.
What is it?
実はまだ映画出ないんですか？実は、今回のサムスリターンズでは、スペシャルエディションですね、特典付きのものも発売されます。
Yeah, so we're going to launch and put on the market a special edition for Metroid Samus Returns.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, that's so pretty. So it also has on the cover the original pose from the Metroid 2 Return of Samus. So that's so cool.
Yeah, and we've got a soundtrack there and reversible covers. So
Yeah,
that's
so
pretty neat.
the soundtrack is actually called Samus Archives. It's a music CD and it has about, I think, 25 tracks.
25, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a collection of all the games that have come out so far for the Metroid series featuring our beloved heroine Samus, including this one. So I hope you guys really, I'm super excited for it, so I hope you guys are too, and it's a really cool treat.
Yes, thank you so much for telling us about that, Sakamoto-san, and
Yes.
thank you, Jose, as well.
Thank you.
ありがとうございます。
All right.
All right, so I think later today we're going to have a trailer.
Oh, that's right. So one more treat for you all. So those of you that have a Nintendo 3DS at home, you're actually able to see the trailer that aired earlier today. And it actually, because you have a Nintendo 3DS, if you're able to put on the 3D functionality, you'll be able to see that 3D depth and display, and you'll just be able to see how isolated and cool and all that depth that's in Metroid. So we're really excited to have that available for you today, and you could download it for free on the Nintendo eShop.
Yes, and thank you so much for tuning in. We were so happy to be able to show you
Yes,
Metroid Samus Returns.
finally announced.
Thank you again, Sakamoto-san and Jose, for joining us and speaking with us. And please stay tuned. Next up, we have Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, so don't go anywhere.
That's right.
Thanks.
go off the rails. Don't you know it's time to raise our sails? It's freedom like you never knew. 20 bags or a pass. Say the word, I'll be there in a flash. You could say my hat is off to you. Oh, we can zoom all the way to the moon from this great wide wacky world. Jump with me, grab coins with me, oh yeah. It's time to jump up in the air. Jump up, don't be scared. Jump up and your cares will soar away. And if the dark clouds start to swirl, don't feel a shed a tear, 'cause I'll be your one-up girl. So let's all jump up super high, high up in the sky. There's no power up like dancing. You know that you're my superstar, so no one else can take me this far. I'm flipping the switch, get ready for this, so let's do the Odyssey.
Hey, welcome back to Nintendo Treehouse Live. I'm Terry, and we have Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle coming up right now. First, let's do some introductions. I have my colleague here, Rich, and we have some friends of ours from Ubisoft, Xavier and Davide. Thank you for coming, guys.
Super glad to be here.
So let's go into the game and let's kind of go talk about a little bit of this game for us.
Sure. So Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is the game we just announced. We're super happy. We were announcing the game yesterday at the conference, and since then we start to show a bit of the gameplay.
Yep.
So we're super happy to show today more of the basics and combat basics, exploration, and so that's what we're gonna do. And in terms of the game itself, so what happened is the Rabbids have just been teleported into the kingdom.
A twisted version of the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, and
actually.
it changed completely the kingdom in itself by twisting it. So you'll have a lot of surprises and elements in the environment, but basically Mario doesn't know anything about the Rabbids when the game starts. So we're still at the beginning of the game here, but basically that's when things start to go a bit crazy with twisted elements. We even have this plant here. There's a bit special.
So yes, we tried to recreate a very immersive world by using the misproportion. So you feel that you are small and in a huge environment which is enveloping you. And everything around you is animated. Like for example, this plant, it's incredible because it's animated by hand and it's following the music of Grant Kirkhope, which is the composer of the game. So it's one of the things that I love about this game.
It's part of the things that Mr. Miyamoto, Nintendo, and us as well, Ubisoft wanted to see as well, the in terms of details, things that we wanted to play with. So yeah, let's go. And big part of the game as well is the combat itself.
Yes. And when the players see those enemy flags in front of them, they know that they are about to play in a fight. A
Right,
combat.
before we go in, actually, there is a couple interesting characters that's following Mario. let's talk about them a little bit.
Yeah, so aside the big Goomba that has been almost played with because of the rabbits and stuff, for the characters and the heroes themselves, so we have Mario, of course. He's a true hero. He's a fighter-like character in combat as well, so he's really strong almost everywhere. But we also have Rabbid Peach. She's a hot-tempered, quite fun of Mario, but hot-tempered rabbit. And a very strong personality as well. And Rabbid Luigi, the third one, he's a wizard-like type of character. He's really clumsy, naive, but at the same time he's quite dangerous in combat and as the game progresses as well. So yeah, it's a nice cast, and this cast is the beginning cast. So as you'll progress into the game, you'll unlock new heroes. So you don't unlock the heroes at the beginning, you unlock them throughout the adventure.
Now, can we say what other characters there will be in the game as well?
Sure.
Absolutely.
So
the player will control 8 heroes. We'll be able to choose between 8 heroes at the end. So that will be the player's roster. And we really wanted to play around this contrast between Mario character and the Rabbids one, like in order to create the humor. So if there is something that the Rabbids learn from Mario throughout the game is how to become heroes. And Mario learns how to crack the joke.
So,
are we ready to look
we
at
go
some
for the
battle?
fight?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
go.
definitely.
So you switch from exploration mode to battle mode this way. So basically, when you see those two flags, you switch to battle mode, and you don't control anymore directly your characters. You control Beepo, little cursor you see in front, and this little guy, in fact, is telling you. You can tell him where to go, and the characters will follow. So that's a big difference between the two. And for us, it was a good match, you know, between exploration and combat in terms of the feeling we have. So let's
as
go.
soon as you start the combat, a fly cam is showing you the battleground, but you can always use the tactic cam, which is a tool that will let the player observe the surrounding to decide what to do, the best move to take. And as you can see in the top right part of the stream, the mission objective, it's a rich area. So it's not really important to defeat the enemy there, but to really decide the best way, possible way to arrive directly at the objective. So the player will have two choices. Directly in front of the enemy, that seems a little bit risky, or moving a little bit on the right to use the cover and being protected by the attack of the rabbits. So what you see right now is Xavier, which is controlling the heroes. In this case, each heroes can perform 3 different type of action. As we are quite early in the game, right now we have only movement and attack. Later on there will be techniques, which is way more, let's say, an indirect way to deal with an enemy, and it's more magical. But the blue line is defining where the characters can move. And in this case, Xavier could, for example, go behind the cover in order to be half protected, or just go in front of the enemy.
So as soon as you press, the character moves. And like David said, we can attack, but it will show first the movement phase itself. You can do whatever you want. You can move first, attack then. It's up to you to decide, in fact.
You can advance towards another cover, such for example as Rabbids Luigi is doing, or even better, you can move the cursor behind one of your teammates in order to activate what we call the team jump. And the team jump is expanding your area of movement, allowing you to go much further than your normal area of movement.
Right.
And this is also allowing you to fill the gaps, such as the small river that you can see in front of you. After that, you can choose, but there is no sequence, right?
Exactly. So basically here, we just finished the movement phase, and now we can see in this fight that the enemies are positioned in a way to zerg you. They called Ziggies. Those guys don't have a lot of life points, but they're they dash you all the time. So it's good that I'm on the other side with Mario, thanks to the team jump. So when you're ready, you press A, you attack, and what you may have seen just over the enemy is the hit percentage. So 100% means 100% chance to hit. If they are behind a half cover, full cover, it changes. So we'll see that just later on. So I'll continue with the attack here, and even defeat the enemy in the process. He's zapped out, and in terms of story, basically they're not dying. They're going back to the hub as white rabbits. So we're actually saving the rabbits
That's
here.
great. Then you feel good about defeating
Yeah,
these guys.
absolutely. That's the whole point, because I don't want to spoil too much about the story, but they have been controlled by a force. And by defeating them, you are removing this force from them. And they are part of the gameplay loop of the players, because they will go back to the Peach Castle, and the more you free them, the more they will build a structure that will help the player throughout their adventure.
So we saw there Mario was attacked, but he's behind a full cover, so the enemy had 0% chance of hitting him. But the cover did take damage, I noticed. So.
Exactly. So it's actually something really important in the combat itself. There are actually, aside one that we have later in the game, no cover that is really infinite. Like they have this amount of damage, and if they get destroyed, you don't have any cover anymore to defend yourself. So for example here, if I go and attack this enemy, I know I'm not going to hit it, it's 0% chance, but just to show you the damage on the cover itself, this is a wood cover, so in 2 hits it's going to be destroyed. And the one you see here next to Rabbit Luigi is a brick cover. So this one is a bit more tough, so 3 hits. So basically, that's really important in the game itself to use this. The enemies will do it, you will do it, so...
And this is cool because you can also use interactive element in the battleground, such as the rabbit's pipe. The rabbit's pipe really helps you to go in other places where you couldn't reach just with your area of movement.
So when you use that tacticam, spot those pipes, and use that to plan out your strategy.
Exactly. So that's why the observation part is important, and we gave this tool to the player in order to really study, if they want to, the battleground.
Yeah, definitely, it does count for you. You do have to explore a bit to really figure out that turn-based strategy and find out what the best advantages you have, especially in this new level and environment that you're encountering.
Exactly. Here, it's even we showed some gameplay yesterday at the conference. It was just the fight after. This one is before, like David was saying, we don't even have the techniques. But one thing here that is really important for us in terms of design and philosophy was, you see the water? This is creating a gap. So it teaches you to use team jump a lot. But the enemies do not use team jump. Those guys are dashers. You don't have Globetrotter. Globetrotter is the second archetype we have. They do team jumps. But here, we really want to show the player, like, hey, you can protect yourself. They will dash you eventually because they will take the pipe by the end of the map, trying to rush you. But it depends because according to where you are in the fight, we never know what the enemies can do. But they should do that in this map because, again, we wanted to teach you this is the way you can play as well. You can reach bigger zones and reach new areas, but also you can go over gaps like water. And this is quite cool. And later in the game, you'll even have height. So if you go up there, you have an advantage in terms of damage. So it starts to build up, We start to put the ingredients together. And this map is 30 minutes into the game, so it's really a good map to start to get those things in.
Yeah, the player are still learning here.
Right.
So it's really up to them where to move. They want to go directly against the enemy and risking to be dashed, but they maybe could arrive at the objective sooner, or they want to take maybe a more safer route like the one we are taking right now, because we are moving, helping each other, using the protection of the colors.
Right, and you had mentioned earlier that the objective for this battle is really to get to this final checkpoint.
Yeah.
There are different battles where you actually have to defeat all the enemies.
So here, it's a tricky map. Of course, we're playing, we know pretty much the map, but for the player, it's going to be a first tricky map because they could take this as, oh, we like to defeat all the enemies, but the issue is that we have a lot of the respawn, and the more you wait, the more enemies will spawn, and it's going to be very complicated. So here, it's a reach objective. You need to reach. One of your character needs to be in the zone, and this is something key for the players to do. And then we have multiple enemy objectives. We have defeat all, defeat this type of enemy, reach, escort, and those type of objectives throughout the game to really challenge the player again to do the right decisioning when it matters. So Rabbit Luigi is really close now. He's not close enough because we made it
not close enough to arrive at
exactly.
the mission objective.
Definitely, this is something that we've never seen before, really, with Mario, and he's pairing up with this mashup. But also, we have Mario for the first time really using a weapon, a projectile weapon, and yeah.
Yeah, Mario has never been afraid to take whatever power-ups are available to him. So it's cool to see these new types of weapons that he can play with.
He's adapting to his surroundings.
Right.
Yes, plus they are very, very light-hearted and funny. Because the weapons in our game are not just there in order to damage the enemy, but they are also a tool to create fun, because you can plug additional behavior, such as you can glue an enemy on the ground. There is a particular enemy that is very powerful in using the techniques. You can freeze his face, so he cannot speak anymore. Therefore, he cannot use the techniques. there is someone very good at shooting, you can hink his face so he cannot see you and he cannot shoot at you. You can burn enemies so they are running with their bottom on fire. And there is also propagation, so if an enemy on fire is touching another enemy, will propagate. There are some crazy behavior that could happen within the battlefield, and that's what we call the domino effect. So you can chain multiple effects, and the output could be very, very crazy.
Also, when you finish a fight, you can go back, of course, to the zone in free movement and exploration mode. All the coins that you have on your battlefield is because when you destroy covers, you gather coins as well. So even if you hit an enemy behind a cover and the cover is destroyed, it's rewarding as well for the player. So you can go back and buy better weapons thanks to coins. But if we have a few minutes, we just wanted to show something as well here. Just a quick fact. You know, we went that way for the fight itself. But in fact, the most effective way, let's say advanced way, would have been to go that way. Even if it's dangerous, the first round you get, you know, dash and stuff. Second round, you really dash the enemy well. So a good strategy would be to put Mario on the right side. He's a good damage output in terms of his weapon. Rabbit Luigi is not really good with his weapon, but he's good with dashing. So you can put it in the front line, and then you go really quickly to the zone here. So yeah, we just revealed something for people when they will play.
Nice.
They know how to play the map now. But yeah, it's up to the player to decide. They can go front or go left, right, whatever they have in mind, they can go for it. Depends on the play style itself.
Because a good tactical game should give the player the choice to choose their strategy. So not only in terms of how you want to customize your character, which kind of weapon you want them to be equipped with, but also the plan that you want to take into the battlefield. So we didn't want for the battles to have only one possible solution, but multiple.
So let's go to the Peach Castle to show the hub itself.
Yeah, let's take a look.
We didn't present it yet, although it's a big part of the game, of course. So it's, of course, it's a Peach Castle. It was not destroyed by the arrival of the rabbits, so thank God. This is good. But the issue, or let's say the challenge for Peach as a princess as well, is that the castle will evolve as the game progresses. So as you progress, you'll see more stuff built by the rabbits a bit randomly, or not randomly like this one, Battle HQ, to change your team, change your weapons, change your skills in the skill tree, access new worlds. So this one is the first one, Ancient Gardens. And you also have many puzzles around that you have to solve. And as you finish a world, you get new contextual actions and exploration as well, so you can progress and see other places that you couldn't go before. So this is key as well for the player to go back to the hub and see what they could do now that have new abilities. So yeah, this hub will evolve throughout the game, and we won't be able to show today the other worlds, but as soon as you finish a world, you can access a new one with this new ability, and the cannon takes you and then shoot you in the world itself. And we just saw an example here of a little puzzle that we have with the red coins that we have in the game as well. So we have yellow coins, red coins, blue coins as well in the bug zones. A museum where you get all your collectibles from the game. You can gather in the game. This one is still broken when you're at that moment in the game, but it's the washing time machine. That's what they use to come in the world itself of Mario. And it will be useful in the future. You can go back and revisit and get better scores in all the fights that you've done. And also other elements that here are teasing that the player will discover. New worlds here, etc., etc. So that's really an important part of the game as well, this hub and how it will evolve with the game itself.
And I do remember that the hub was one of the first things that we decided to do within the game, like really a point of contact for the player to really help me throughout the whole game. And I remember when we were told that we were about to work with Nintendo on a game that was featuring both Mario and the Rabbids, and we immediately understood that it was a lifetime opportunity. We worked really night and day in order to find something unique for the Rabbids, but as well for Mario. So as we are huge tactical fan, we said, okay, we should use them to propose something fresh, something new in the turn-based combat games. But at the same time, we wanted to stay true to the Mario universe, and therefore we decided to mix those two different phases, but in a seamless way, like the combat and the adventure. And at the end, when we felt that we had a solid idea, we decided to meet with Nintendo. And I remember that we had only 3 weeks and a half. It was crazy, do you remember? To really prepare something. And when I finally met Mr. Miyamoto, I felt like he's the creator of my favorite game. It's the inspiration of my career as a game designer. And I felt like if I was divided like in two. So the passionate Nintendo player and the Ubisoft creative director, the urgency to ask for an autograph and the responsibility to present the game the most professional way.
Sure.
But at the end, the effort paid off because he told me that he was impressed, and he kept asking how come that we had Mario and Luigi in our prototype. But the truth is that even if we spent, we had only 3 weeks and a half to work on the prototype, we recreated Mario and Luigi from scratch, the model, the animation, the rig, in order to try to translate their essence in our prototype. And I think that this was the moment where we truly convinced Nintendo about our commitment and passion. So from that moment on, we kept meeting with them in Kyoto. It was an incredible journey, and Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle become really a work of love, a labor of love.
That's such an amazing story.
Yeah, I think you guys have a lot to be proud of, and I know that Mr. Miyamoto, he's hard to impress, and you guys have worked really hard, and I'm super proud of what you guys have come up with. I can't wait to play the full game.
And it's just beautiful looking with all the graphics and the different tactical style, but also the exploration of the game. It's a new style that we never really encountered before. So
we didn't sleep a lot these past month and years, but we're super happy to be here and talk about the game. It feels great. Like we were almost like in the cave, working on this game. And I think for the team, the whole team, dev team, all the studios, to be here today to talk about the game, show the game, finally, it's just super exciting.
Yesterday press conference was
it went very well, and
wall of
all the emotions we had on it was great. And I think now showing the game like that is just incredible. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thanks
much, guys, for coming. So this was Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and then up next we have Fire Emblem Warriors. Stay tuned for more.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3 2017. I'm up here with Matt, Audrey, and Mr. Hayashi from Koei Tecmo. And Owen translating. We're here to give you a look at Fire Emblem Warriors. I want to warn you, it's a very chaotic game. And so Audrey will not be playing while she speaks. That's why we've got Matt up here with us. He won't be saying a whole lot, but I hope you chime in with a little bit of your strategic decision-making.
I'll try.
As we're going. So anyway, take it away.
Matthew has a wonderful personality. You won't be hearing much of it, though. Sorry about that. So we're going to jump right in here. And as Rich said, we're taking a look at Fire Emblem Warriors. Now, this is an action-adventure that has Warrior-style gameplay, but featuring Fire Emblem heroes. And it's a brand new story in a brand new kingdom. And we're actually going to be first playing the stage that we're playing on the show floor, but we have a few new additions we're showing exclusively here on Nintendo Treehouse Live. And one of those is this spunky blonde here, Liana.
She's a new hero, right?
She's a brand new character added just to this game, and she's the twin sister of Rowan, who you can play as on the show floor. Hi, Xander. Hello. We'll get to Xander in a bit.
We'll be spending a lot of time with Xander.
Yes, but while we have Hayashi-san here, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about how the idea came about to create a warrior-style game based around Fire Emblem.
我々ゼルダ無双も開発してたんですけども、ゼルダ無双のハイラルウォリアーズレジェンズの時に3DS で下画面でプレイアブルキャラクターをこうリアルタイムに切り替えるっていう遊びを入れたんですね。でこれを入れた時にやっぱりファイアーエンブレムの伝統的な3すくみの遊びとこのキャラクターを切り替える無双っていうのは多分すごく相性のいい面白いゲームになるんじゃないかなということでゼルダ無双をハイラルウォリアーズのレジェンズ開発中にぜひ次このファイアーエンブレム無双を作りましょうっていうお話をさせていただいて今回こうやって実現したとなります。
So as you may know, we worked on the game Hyrule Warriors, and in Hyrule Warriors Legends we had a game system where on the touchscreen you could switch characters, and we thought that this would be a really good combination with some of the strategic elements from Fire Emblem. For example, like the weapons triangle. So we heard about this project during the time that we were developing Hyrule Warriors Legends, and we thought it would be a great idea to work on a Fire Emblem themed Warriors games.
Hey, thank you. And as we just saw, Prince Marth showed up.
Hey there.
Fans may recognize him from the very first Fire Emblem game or from Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon
on the Nintendo
DS. And he shows up all around.
He's a busy man.
He is. But we're not going to give away anything about story here, but you will see a bunch of different Fire Emblem heroes and villains showing up, and you may just have to battle some of them.
It'll all make sense when you're playing.
It'll make sense when you play.
Don't fret.
But as you just saw, there was a stun gauge over one of those enemies, and Matthew was actually able to whittle it all the way down, which allowed him to unleash a really epic critical hit on them, which did a great amount of damage.
I love all of the nods to the Fire Emblem franchise that we're seeing in here, including the critical hit that you just saw with like the facial animation going across the screen.
Absolutely, and speaking of, we've got these little sprites on a grid-based map. That's a little bit familiar to Fire Emblem fans, and it also brings me to something else that we're showing exclusively here on Nintendo Treehouse Live, which is the ability to give commands. Now, this is extremely useful, but you can actually select any of the units that you're in control of and send them anywhere you want. You can deploy them to an enemy base, you can send them to fight a different enemy. You can do whatever you want to help you maintain control of the map, and this is really key in helping you win because it can, as you said, it can get quite chaotic. And as you saw, Matthew just switched to Chrom, which is always a good decision. But with the touch of a button, you can switch between the characters you're in control of. So if you place them at different points on the map, then you can just switch between them, and then you're suddenly halfway across the map. It's very useful.
Chrom versus Marth seems so weird. They're basically using different iterations of the same sword, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legendary sword facing off against itself. And I love these special attacks here. They're really dynamic, and they really bring to life the characters that we know and love from the Fire Emblem franchise. And as Matthew is kind of mowing down these enemies here and trying to defeat all of the enemy captains on the map, Hayashi-san, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about the battle system in Fire Emblem Warriors and how it differs from other Warriors games.
はい、今回、ファイアーエンブレム無双はですね、無双の気持ちいい意気投合の爽快感っていうのはもちろんなんですけども、そのファイアーエンブレムの持つシミュレーション要素っていうのをこの無双に落とし込んでいて、今マップにあるように3組によってこの得意不得意が一目瞭然出ますし、それ以外にも今キャラクターをダブルっていうことで2人をくっつけたりっていうような要素も覚醒の要素からインスパイアを受けて作っているものです。そういう意味で戦略性のあるファイア無双ゲームとしてこのファイアーエンブレム無双は形にしています。はい。
So this game has a lot of the game elements that you'd be familiar from other Warriors games, like, you know, really over-the-top action and kind of the thrill of taking on hordes of enemies. But it combines that with the RPG simulation elements from Fire Emblem games. For example, the weapons triangle, and also being able to pair up with characters is something that was inspired by Awakening. So we have really the strategic elements of Fire Emblem combined with the thrill of playing a Warriors game.
Absolutely, and there are just all kinds of little touches that I think Fire Emblem fans will especially really appreciate. You mentioned the weapons triangle, and anyone who's played a Fire Emblem game knows the weapons triangle quite intimately, and it's in full effect in this game. And things like pairing up. If you pair up two of your units, then you can do things like dual attacks or dual guards, and you can even have them jump in and help each other during their special attacks, which isn't only helpful, it looks really cool.
I think the animations for this game are part of what I love so much about it. Watching all the characters pulling off their critical attacks, like right now with Corrin.
Corrin's going nuts
here.
here.
That is insane. And it's not done yet.
No, she's just getting started. Yes. She did give it her all. Thank you, Corrin. Oh no, you made her mad. This one's really cool.
We both are momentarily struck numb by the
I know.
beauty of that attack.
And really, the characters is one of the biggest parts that fans love about the Fire Emblem series. And not only do we get to see a great variety of them and a brand new kingdom and a brand new story, we get to play in a different type of gameplay than we usually do for Fire Emblem heroes. So that's really neat. And also just seeing them rendered in beautiful HD in these brand new scenarios is just really something else.
And having all of these characters brought together in one game provides us with some unique opportunities as well. You get to see characters who'd never interact in any other game, like fighting side by side or against one another.
Cross paths, yeah. When you might not normally have seen Chrom go falchion to falchion with Marth, here we are. Speaking of, Hayashi-san, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about how you achieved the task of making the more action-oriented Warriors gameplay capture the feel of the Fire Emblem series, which is more strategy-oriented.
そこのバランスは本当に非常に大事にしてまして、今のシミュレーションゲームの遊び方、キャラクターをどっちに向かわせるっていうのはもちろん戦略的に遊びたい方はそう遊んでいただいてもいいですし、アクションゲームとしてそこら辺あんまりこうテンポよく遊びたいっていう方はそこにはお任せっていう要素もありますので、プレイヤーの皆さんの好みに合わせて遊べるようにっていうことも意識して作ってます。
So when we were working on this game, we really thought that balance between those two kind of game styles was really important. So in simulation RPG games, you would have strategic elements where you could send characters to different parts of the maps, and those kind of players who are into those games really want to take their time with that. But people who like action games really want to maintain the tempo, and so we have the option of setting that part of the system to be automated so that certain characters will defend and attack on their own. So
thank you. And thank you also for including Prince Xander, who's the Crown Prince of Nor and of my heart.
Well, don't thank him yet.
Well, he showed up to be friends, right? That's my understanding. No?
ちょっと1個だけ例をお伝えすると、このレベルアップ演出、これもやっぱりファイアーエンブレムシリーズから取り入れた演出なんですけども、こういう演出が好きな方はこの演出見てもらえるもいいし、アクションゲームとして毎回この演出入るのはちょっとテンポかなっていう方はオプションでこれの表示をなくすこともできるんですね。そういう形でファイアーエンブレムファンの皆さんに楽しんでいただきつつ、アクションゲームとしても楽しみたい方、よりシミュレーション的に遊びたい方っていう方に遊んでいただけるようにバリエーションオプションなんかも用意してます。
Okay, just to comment on something that we just saw on the screen there was the level up sort of sequence. And that's definitely something that we've included for Fire Emblem fans to enjoy, where they'll see that right in the middle of the gameplay. But players who are more used to action games, where they might think that might stop the tempo of the game, they can turn that off in the options. So we definitely wanted to include elements that would make Fire Emblem players happy, but also not kind of disrupt the play for action players who really like action games.
Yes, thank you. And they did a fantastic job of it, because there are all these little things. I mean, not just the grid-based map, the level up screen, little sound effects that if you're a huge Fire Emblem nerd, like nobody here today at all, no.
Or in this show floor or
No,
anywhere.
absolutely not. But, if you love Fire Emblem, you're just going to go nuts over all of the little details and Easter eggs that they put in here for you.
We've got Ryoma now hacking his way through a bunch of minions. They were a lot of axe users, but now we're up against some swordsmen. Hoping to get some like weapons triangle action going on, but he slaughtered them rather quickly.
Yeah, you really do need to pay attention to what weapon you have equipped and what weapon your enemies have equipped. And in the full game, of course, you'll be able to choose which weapons and items you equip your characters with. So.
Oh, Ryoma.
There's Ryoma beating up on innocent civilians like he does.
They just showed up to get a paycheck, and
That's true.
they have no stake here. These poor guys.
今みたいにこうキャラクターをダブルでアクションするとハートマークは出ますけど、あれもキャラクター同士の親密度が上がったっていう証拠なんで、ああいう風にやってもらうとゲームの中でもその2人の仲が良くなることでよりいい効果が出たりっていうこともあります。
You might have seen there when two characters pair up and they attack, there'll be a heart icon that shows over them, and that basically means that the bond between them has gotten closer. So you have that kind of element where characters will build this closeness between them as you play through the game.
Yes, that's true, and we're not going to give away about it, but as Hayashi-san just said, there is a support system of some sort. So again, another thing that's very familiar to Fire Emblem fans that has been brought to life in this Warriors gameplay.
Charging on deeper into battle now. Who's coming up here?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Oh no.
It's your buddy.
Okay, we all know who to cheer for here. And it's not Matthew. I'm sorry, Matthew. Hitting an innocent horse. How could you?
Like a little bit of support from my treehouse member, though.
It's okay. A little on, we'll get some revenge. Trust me. But see, this is really cool. We have Corrin, we have Ryoma, and we have Xander all just dueling it out here in this action gameplay. That's just a scenario we never would have gotten to experience otherwise.
Corrin must feel so conflicted right now.
Yeah, Corrin always feels conflicted.
That's true.
Poor Corrin.
Nicely done.
Good work, Matthew.
Thank you very much.
Made short work of Xander.
Well, no. Xander chose to retreat, for the good of his people. Just don't worry about it.
He had a conflicting appointment.
He did.
I'll show up later.
He had places to be. Showboat. I'm sorry. Ryoma's a good character and stuff.
You sound very sincere.
In case you haven't noticed, I might be Team Nor, just a little bit.
Just a touch.
Maybe a little.
It's not revealing at all.
Nope.
No.
So thank you for making quick work of those enemy captains, Matthew. And now we're actually going to jump into a new mode that we're showing exclusively here on Nintendo Treehouse Live, and this is called Coliseum mode. So as Matthew boots it up, Hayashi-san, could you tell us a little bit about what the inspiration was for Coliseum mode and what it adds to the experience?
ファイアーエンブレムで闘技場ってすごく歴史のあって伝統的なモードなんですけど、それをせっかくだから今回ファイアーエンブレム層にも入れたいということで、ゲームのメインのストーリーモードは別でちょっとこれから今後お伝えするやり込み要素の方にそういった遊びが一つ入っています。でそれはいろんなヒーローたちがどんどん襲ってきて、それをとにかく倒していくっていうような遊びが入ってます。
So as you know, arenas are really kind of a traditional game element from past Fire Emblem games, so we thought that we want to include that in one way or another. So what we did was include it as a mode that's separate from the main story mode, and it's kind of extra game content that you can play in there. And what you'll do is you'll go through and fight lots of heroes one-on-one until you get to the end. Yeah.
Thank you. And as you can see, we jumped right into Coliseum mode, and finally, we're playing as Prince Xander, and he's actually storming Hoshido Castle.
This is his prior appointment. He had a separate engagement.
This is where he ran off to. So, as Hayashi-san mentioned, what separates this mode from regular Warriors gameplay is that while you still have waves of enemies to take out, it's much more one versus one focused. So first, Matthew's going to take down these captains here, but then after that, he's actually going to go one-on-one with a series of 6 Fire Emblem heroes, and he's going to have to take them down to win. But he's Xander, so he totally will.
I love watching Xander on his horse charging through hordes of soldiers.
Yeah, we need to take a moment to appreciate the horse here. The horse might be the hero of the whole game. He's fantastic. He flies, he jumps around, he gets right in the thick of it. This horse is really a champion for everyone.
Are you saying Xander's overrated?
No, I would
Okay.
never say that. I'm just saying that the horse is right up to his level.
Equals,
Yes.
partners.
Just below him.
今回 E3 ではこの辺の英雄たちを紹介してますけど、もっともっと実はプレイアブルキャラクターいっぱいいますんで、もっともっとお気に入りの男性が登場すると思います。
Okay. So, as you can see, we've seen tons of great Fire Emblem characters in this version of the game, but there will be lots and lots of other characters that we'll be revealing. So I'm sure there'll be some other handsome guys in there that you might be interested in, Audrey, as well. Yeah. Possibly.
Thank you.
More husbands for Audrey.
Yay! Just what I need.
で、し
Don't
か
tell
も
Xander.
今回皆さんやっぱフルボイスっていうことを非常に今回大事に作ってまして、見ていただく通りもうとにかくいろんなプレイヤーがずっといろいろおしゃべりするようなそんな賑やかなゲームになってます。
And as you can see from the gameplay here, it's fully voiced, so you'll be able to play through the battles while enjoying hearing all your favorite characters speak, and that really makes it a really feel-good experience while you're playing the game.
And that's a really good point. Hearing all of these lines voiced by our favorite Fire Emblem heroes is just really an incredible thing for fans. So maybe you could tell us just a little bit more about the decision to make all of the lines fully voiced.
ファイアーエンブレムであんまり全部ボイス喋るってエコーズではありましたけど今までなくて今回この皆さんがムービーで見るようなリアルなグラフィックのファイアーエンブレムのヒーローたちを実際にプレイできるようにっていうことで今回やったのでボイスも自然とやっぱこのモデルだったらやっぱみんなちゃんと喋ってほしいよねということで今回フルボイス化を最初から決めて作ってました。
So, well, it's not like every single element of the game is voiced, like it might be in Echoes, but this is definitely a game that takes, the characters that you've seen in movies from past Fire Emblem games, but then makes them playable within the game. So that's really kind of a special thing that we're doing here with the game. So we thought that it would really make sense. The only way to kind of to bring justice to that would be to add voice to their actions during the game. Yeah.
Absolutely, it really does add a lot. And as we saw, Xander made quick work of Marth there.
That's true. Plowed right through them.
Yes.
And the voice isn't just like flavor, it also provides you with a lot of in-game instruction and direction about where your weak areas are on the map and where soldiers need, or where your characters need to be deployed. So it works across the board to bring people into the Fire Emblem experience.
It really does. And now something terrible and wonderful is happening. Crom has showed up, and it's husband versus husband. I don't know who to cheer for.
It's okay. Let the battle decide.
Yes.
Whoever is more worthy of your affections wins.
Oh, God. Matthew, you fiend. What are you doing?
I didn't set this up.
This is all you're doing. All right, fight wisely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no winning for you. There's no winning for me, actually. You could pull it off. Yeah, give him some space, Matthew. For God's sake.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, poor Crom.
Crom stands alone as his soldiers are run down. He's taking the patient approach, luring him out, and there it is.
It's hard to watch. Maybe they're sparring, and they're going to be best friends.
Afterwards.
And star in a buddy comedy.
Together they fight crime.
Yes, it could happen. That's going to hurt tomorrow.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, and there's Xander's special attack.
This won't do him in, but it's going to sting.
Yeah. It's not as special when it's against Crom. And now we have Rowan showing up, and this is the twin brother of Liana, who we saw earlier on in the segment.
Right. There it is. That means that Crom is no longer fighting alone.
Xander's pretty powerful, though, so
Yeah.
we'll see if even the two of them can manage.
We'll see what Matt's strategy is here, too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just to start murdering them. His
Yeah,
strategy is to murder.
That's a sound strategy, actually.
There it is.
And I also want to point out that in Coliseum.